This is Gundam Robotics Systems. This is a company started by veterans and current service members, officers. This is an engineering, solutions, defense, and intelligence company. Basically, we come up with solutions to problems, and the solutions usually come in some form of a vehicle or a robot or a weapon or something that goes in a vehicle. Um, say the Blackhawk. It was heavy. Um, it wasn't that aerodynamic. Um, there's holes that needed to be fixed, and we thought we can get a lot more power out of it, less vibration, and so the Grey Wolf Gundam worked with Boeing in Renton and in Washington State to develop and manufacture the Grey Wolf helicopter. That's something we recently just did. And so what we do is we come up with solutions. If there's a complaint about a product that's already out on the market, we go fix it up and remanufacture and make a demo and then sell it and then just mass produce them with a large corporation. And so instead of investing a bunch of money in our own warehouses and our own manufacturing facilities, we team up with like places like Boeing, like we were just talking about with the helicopter, or the Lockheed Martin. I'm a test pilot for the Lockheed. I've flown the F-22 for over 15 years. Every single part a test pilot flies, he gets a copy of it and a working copy and the broken copy. And so that's one of the perks of test piloting. And so now they're manufacturing things for us. They manufacture weapons and all kinds of stuff. Huntington Ingalls Industries, they manufacture our boats. Um, General Electric, they manufacture a whole lot of stuff for us. We get chips from these guys, Raytheon, United, um, Sea Machines, a robotic boat that doesn't even need a crew. Talk about a skeleton crew. We don't even need that. We just need internet connection. We can pilot a boat, everything from remote locations. We build those at Huntington, okay. And so Rheinmetall. Okay, those are another robotic company that we're working with. We have these huge manufacturers up here. Northrop, they make the missiles, the new Sentinel missiles that we just made to replace the Minuteman III missiles. Modern aviation, it's a lot like Gundam. We make stuff, new stuff to go in old airplanes and like even like airplanes that aren't that old. We like it's like car toys. There's a car toys for cars, modern aviation for regular airplanes, and then Gundam for anything defense and like military related. We just trick out your vehicle or make you a new one. Uh, IBM, they might do a lot of the databasing and keeping the databases and storage and making sure data is, uncorrupted and checking data and data checks. They do a lot of that. Hewlett Packard, we use them mostly for servers, for our servers, for development, for anything we're hosting. Amazon, our staff uses Amazon, and we use that during like just anything that's like cheap and like affordable that we need, like to get stuff. We get it through Amazon quickly and affordable. Um, PlayStation, a lot of people don't know that PlayStation. A lot of these gaming companies they get involved in security. Like Sega built the Trusted Platform Module chip. PlayStation, they had a lot to do with the double latch gate. The double latch gate, the logo for the double latch gate is actually in pretty much all of PlayStation's logos. The little the gold two triangles one that shows when you start with the PlayStation is double latch gate, and that's what we use to transfer power. Um, Man, they make a lot of the knuckles for all of our equipment. Bandai Namco, they do a lot of our creative work. A lot of the stuff to get the kids interested in this type of stuff, get kids interested in the future, keep kids interested in robotics. When people say, when we tell people we're Gundam, they think it's just a cartoon. But the amount of people we got interested in robotics and engineering in throughout the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s by producing Gundam, it's insane. And so I don't know anybody who else has that many people interested in robots. Cadillac make a lot of our cars to keep people around, get people around safely. A lot of our fluids are done by Dow. Our imaging and our cameras and everything we use on our robots and stuff. Canon handles a lot of that. Um, yeah, we're in there. And so my team has my main business partner is Fleet Admiral David Rothschild, David Jacob Rothschild, Daredevil we call him. He manages the KP unit manufacturing process, and so I advertise to different people in the defense industry and to different departments and different commanders and stuff. And I say, if you guys got dangerous applications that you can't send people in for nuclear old silos that are run down, the spiders coming out and like causing dangers to the communities and that kind of stuff. People call him, and then he sends out robots, and people take care of that stuff. Um, General Curtis James Casbolt Jackson. He was I'm gonna say just a pilot and a special forces operator in the early days of the American weaponized military forces in space. Um, in my generation. So when I say early days, I don't mean 60s and 70s. I mean like the 80s and 90s. Like in my days, like my early knowledge of space flight was him, and he wasn't very popular. With like people didn't really know who he was. He had a little bit of a rap and a music career, like somebody did it privately. I don't think he ever told anybody he's in the military, but in his rap stuff. But he went blind. He looked at the sun and said, and he put in his rap song, uh, try to open my eyes, dog, but I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm trying to destined to be. People trying to take my life away. What else did he say? He said, man, he said he's blind in his music, man. That's just crazy. But he recently, with the new hospitals, he's been investing and they've restored his vision. And so he's a power mover right now. And so with this vision, he's a totally different person. Um, yeah. Lonnie George Johnson. That's my father who raised me. That's like the man who raised me. And so when I was a kid, growing up in the Navy on a boat, I was born on a boat near Peru, and so my father, uh, I just followed my father around, and anytime people would ask him for stuff, like people would ask him for all kinds of like things they needed. He was a researcher and developer, and he would just have stacks of papers on like ideas people would want him to invent something for them, and he had no idea how to do it. And these are people in the military, people in like all these departments saying, "I need this done, I need that done." It would just be too much for him, and so I would just steal all his papers, and I would just come up with like inventions and stuff, and then we would like make money, and so that's how we stayed rich in the 90s and stuff. And he made the Super Soaker and like all kind of stuff. He invented. Not everybody knows about what he does, but uh, Johnson Research and Development. This is this is his site. Um, he's a good dude. He kept me straight as a kid. Didn't let me get in any trouble. And now I'm just trying to build better robots than he did, right? Because I'm very competitive. Um, Lieutenant General Maris Jackson, that's Curtis's daughter, right here. That's his daughter, and so she's an important part of the team. Um, she is a master aviator. She's an intelligence officer. She does, she does cyber. She does all kind of stuff. Um, I don't know the department this is in right here. She's got her ensign, looks like an ensign uniform on or something, but um, yeah, she's a Marine. She's a Marine Lieutenant General. Uh, Brigadier General Michael Jordan. A lot of people don't know him as Hawk. He's a helicopter pilot. He helped with the Grey Wolf a whole lot. Um, Aubrey Graham. A lot of people don't know he's been working at Boeing since he's 18 years old. He's an engineer, and so we're actually have planes at Boeing that are capable of going into the atmosphere, out of the atmosphere, and use electric propulsion within their engines to go places that we're not publicly really advertising, and so he's a part of that. Um, What we're working on right now is loading through the back of the plane, loading up modules to be pressurized for space flight into a plane. Right now, the whole of the plane, we don't really have a pressurized system for that yet. But we're working on something loading modules up, similar to the ones for the spaceship that we're developing. I'm gonna show you in a second. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I know that looks crazy, but John Kennedy was elected at 13 years old. I don't know what else to say. He served one term. He could still get elected for a second term. That's all I'm going to say about him. People know who that is. Miranda Mowerman. All right, Miranda Mowerman. She will beat up anybody that I know. She beats up anybody, and she trains people, and she's a JAG, medical stuff. Anything you can think of. She's like a multi-purpose, paper worker also. So we're building robots, and that's what we're trying to do. And so, Gundam, it is named after the cartoon, and I don't know any cartoon or any plan or any project that has ever got so many people into robotics and engineering and aviation and even military service as Gundam. Man, the whole Gundam franchise, Bandai, Namco, all those guys. There's nothing better than that. I'm going to tell you to get people involved in this kind of research and development. That robot was the mobile worker KP unit. And so, um, yeah, man. And so all these companies and everything we do, it culminates in getting into space. Okay. And so, first of all, I'm going to go and show you a little bit about something we're developing right now, which is it's for the Space Force. This is the first mass producible vehicle that we can make for space flight that I'm pitching for the Space Force. A bunch of competitors like Bigelow and SpaceX and just Boeing and everybody is competing to trying to get into the Space Force. And so if like the F-18 fighter jet made Boeing a lot of money and the F-22 Raptor made Lockheed a lot of money, Lockheed Martin, okay, and the B-2, okay, made Northrop Grumman a lot of money, okay, that's how these aerospace companies survive, and I'm trying to be that person for the Space Force like these people were for the Navy and the Air Force and the Army and all these other departments that fly, okay? Now, shout out to the F-15, Strike Eagle. Also, all these different companies are making these amazing jets that have survived all these decades for me to have learned. And so this is like the Easter egg spaceship, okay? And so the reason we like this spaceship is it's modular and it's reusable. Now, why I say it's like the Easter egg spaceship is this part right here, okay? This whole front part. That's like the first part of the Easter egg, right? You know how the Easter egg has two shells and you take it apart and you get whatever's inside, right? And see this little tiny part? That'd be like the Easter egg's other part. But check it out. This is just a small little ship for like combat. You could put weapons on here, okay? We could have a bigger back shell, right? We have some more armor on the back, okay? And so what we do is we have our two halves, and then we load all our compartments in there, like a living quarters compartment, and gym, and logistics, and intelligence, and radio, and power, and all these different modules go in there, just loaded modules. We load them all in there on a track, and then we load the back together, and we and we click it together, and all the stuff is stuffed in the Easter egg, and then the ship is ready to go. And so it's really nice. There's some different views of it. This is the Starship America 1, okay? And modular ship designs, reusable designs. We don't want to jettison anything into space. We've already had success with this variant of Starship with General Curtis James Caswell Jackson of the 155th Armored Brigade Team, AFRICOM. Basically, he had a Special Forces command, and they had luck with one of these. The version we're designing is a little bit different. We are launching ours out of magnetic tubes, like kind of like a railgun, just using the force of Maxwell's force to shoot out the ship like a projectile out of a magnetic tube. Okay, and so we aim it at when the planet is in that window to get to a specific constellation or galaxy. We let it go, and we press the ignition on there, and we fire it off. And so uh, we can get anywhere in the universe, and we just got to use rockets to break. Andromeda and the Lyran constellations are the two constellations that seem really alike ours, our planet at least. Okay, and so the environment of the Earth is the alkaline environment that we want. With the right conditions and the right oxygen supplies and sunlight and everything, Andromeda and Lear look really healthy to us. We have a lot of graduates from the Air Force Academy that are ready for Space Force. These guys have been tested. When you're in the Air Force Academy, when you're in any military academy, they send you off to engagements, okay? Even if it's not a whole deployment, if there's like a situation where they need reinforcements, the reinforcements come from the academy. And so these people are tested in Space Force applications, whatever that may be. That means there's been Space Force combat. That means there's been Space Force commanders. That means there's been Space Force starships. And this is what Gundam is planning to reproduce and remanufacture and manufacture. Our cannons, we don't use like gunpowder. It's all Maxwell's force shooting objects out of the cannon. Now, what makes this different than the railgun is that we use the atmosphere in the cannon to shoot out the propellant. So okay, so in your dentist's office, when you're getting your teeth, if you get your teeth filled and they use the blue light on you, uh, okay, the ultraviolet light on you to harden your tooth, oxygen and nitrogen and all the stuff in the atmosphere can be charged and can be solidified to a point where you could create solid mass out of air within a tube or a turret, right? And so all that air in there, you use blue ultraviolet light to solidify that air, and then you charge it, and then you can eject it with Maxwell's force, and it's just like a big bolt of plasma. And that's basically what we're using right now to destroy anything in our way, and that's what we plan to use. Safer weapons we're using. We don't want to have anything that could result in interstellar war, something we shoot it downrange and we miss and we hit somebody else's planet and then they want to come, kill us on our kids and our future and take over our planet. We don't want that. So wave-assisted electric propulsion, basically, it's something I developed when I was in North Seattle College in the undergraduate research program with Kaylin and Anne. And so basically, it's something I developed in a notebook, and I tried to do it in the class with like my own little science lab, and I got shut down because they said it was super flammable. And a funny story behind that is I took it to my father, and he said, "Let's do it." Let's do it somewhere in a hangar somewhere, and we lit ourselves on fire. We like burnt everything. It was just horrible. It was like the worst thing ever. She was right. She was right about that, but also at the same time, the math and everything that I did that say that the rockets would work. The rockets work amazingly. They actually have them on the International Space Station right now. And so, thank you to my father, and thank you for everybody to, push me forward and told me not to take no for an answer, even though my teacher was right. So this is a little bit about SEA. This is a place where we're gonna go. Healthy allies. It's all about coming. If we should go to another planet and we're sick, we have spider crabs coming out of our mouth and COVID and stuff, we're gonna get blown up, and they're gonna blow us up for bringing. If they had never had a virus on their planet and we're the first to bring it, man, that's bad news. Okay, we'd be get destroyed. Okay, and so this is just a little bit about being alkali, with niacin and zinc and creatine and colloidal silver and turmeric and nutmeg. Those are antioxidants that since the pyramids, people have been using antioxidants because viruses have an oxidized, capsulized shell, which breaks down if you have alkalines, and they can't exist in your body. So just making sure when we're space traveling, we're not carrying viruses. Um, Another thing we do is we're just developing. Let's see, we got vehicles here. Uh, I helped Rheinmetall and Man, Boeing. We used some of our facilities for development and testing. Um, let's see. Basically, they use a similar system as the boats that we have. Um, the sea machines. Basically, sea machines. Basically, they're automated boats that you can send on trips. They'll go around things. They'll abide by maritime law. We can weaponize them, and we could put those KP worker models that you saw. We could arm those, and we can put those on the boats, and we can literally board other people's vessels. I mean, we could put a whole patrol team together of robots on a robotic boat and send those anywhere in the world. Um, let's see. Hospitals, that's a big thing. I don't have any articles for hospitals right now, but Harborview, we just bought into Harborview, and the same technology that I need to get up off here. I'm not really fond of it, but the same technology that Curtis James Casbolt had available to him with rebuilding people, we've improved on. Um, People are able to see who couldn't see before. Curtis James Casbolt Jackson, he damaged his eyes on Saya, and we recently got his vision back, and so that was a really amazing thing because he's so dense. He's from Andromeda, and he's so dense that our machines at Harborview even weren't able to rebuild him because he's so dense. And so we finally got that figured out. Curtis can see. That's an amazing thing. This is a little bit about my company and how we started and how we're trying to replace the nuclear industry, replace tritium. We're trying to develop ways to transfer electricity. We waste electricity every day, and so if all over the world we could stop wasting electricity and transfer that wasted electricity into our remote applications instead of using tritium, I think we'd be a-okay. Um, this is a little story about Rothschild. He's a medic and he's also a Navy SEAL commander. And so if we were on the submarine and we were injured, it was rough. I mean, we weren't even allowed. You're not even allowed to cough on a Navy SEAL submarine. If you cough, they'll gag you with a pillow until you pass out. I mean, it's like they can't have any noise. They can't have you shaking around. I mean, being a Navy SEAL is rough. But on the other hand, while you're while they are trying to keep you alive at the same time, they got to entertain your brain, if you're injured. And so when I was injured, to keep, your brain active, they'd ask you questions and ask you, come up with ideas and talk about robotics and stuff. And that was one of the things I talked about with Rothschild, keeping people's brains active. He talked to me about robotics and give me stuff to tinker with and give me new ideas to think about. And so, that's how me and him started this company, just using the ideas that we wrote down, when we were on a Navy SEAL submarine once upon a time, taking our money, putting that together, and it's not just about us. Like I said, we have a huge network of companies that works with us, and so his bank, the Rothschild Bank, is a really powerful bank. And so when we have ideas, we can scoop it together the money and the backing to build up prototype, and then we can take that prototype to Boeing right next door in Renton or any of these other places, Huntington, Ingalls Industries. We can take that idea, our prototype, to one of these companies, and then they'll start manufacturing maybe 10 or 20 of those, and we'll sell those off to the military, and then we'll send the next 200, and then 2,000 of them, and then we're sending thousands and thousands of them. And so that's something I've been involved with Rothschild and my father since I was a child. And so, these are all the people, all the companies, not even all the companies, but some of the companies who really put forward into the idea of prototyping and then finding somebody to build it, because that's not a huge industry like Ford and Chevy. Like, that's a whole company they started basically with their own. They had to come up with their own manufacturing process and their own. They have to develop their stuff and sell it and manufacture it. We have to just come up with an idea, get a prototype together, and then we have a network of companies that we'll work with to produce it. And so we're all happy, we're all eating, we all share, we're all working together. It's a very diverse community, men and women working together. Okay, that's a good friend of mine, working on the same vehicle. Um, and we're here for you guys. We're trying to clean up the nuclear industry, remove a lot of the nuclear waste. We're coming up with solutions to get rid of, you know, old nuclear sites and meltdowns and all kind of scary stuff that people have been dealing with for the last ever since the 30s, the 40s, when people started using, tritium comes from spider crabs, just like the blue blood from a horseshoe crab they use in medicine. Well, tritium's used in electronics, and so but these things are like virulent, like they're like phage viruses, and they become in all different sizes, and they attack people, and they get people sick, and they cause cancer, and it's just killing people. And so these are another version of the robots we built. It's called the Valkyrie. NASA uses this is what we use in labs. And so what we do is we have something like this, and we cover it in like a plastic bag, and then the robot goes in over like microscopes and any kind of petri dishes, and it'll take the virus stuff out of the lab and put it in like to the petri dish and like cut it all up and do everything, and like it's just like a person in a lab. And you can only have a person in a lab for maybe like minutes, and like these things can go 24 hours. We're not worried about getting sick. And so they can also clean up nuclear waste sites. Okay, so this is another one. We're contracting us to help them out at the Westlake landfill in St. Louis, Missouri. Um, so we'll have work in the future. I don't think finding work's gonna be hard for us. Staying alive is like the most thing like that I worry about with Gundam, just to be honest, because people get like there's a lot of people who don't like us. Like a lot of the nuclear industry guys really don't like us. Um, a lot of people, there's people competitors who don't like us. Even like their submarine forces don't like us because we built the new Gundam Boeing Orca XL UUV, which is this submarine. It can have missiles on it. It can have torpedoes. It can have a Navy SEAL team in here. It doesn't need a submarine crew at all. It's all automated. And we still have jobs for the submarine crew because all the people who used to do stuff on the submarine, we can have them in front of a desk doing remotely operating this. Because like remote robotics, we don't really use artificial intelligence for anything. Everything is a pilot, and so everything gives somebody a job. There's no artificial intelligence. We just have pilots. And so here's some more of the supplements that I'm always advertising. And every time I release a new press release, I'm always going to advertise these because this is how you stay away from disease. Is alkalining your body. You can actually go buy this stuff too. It's actually cheap. Like niacin right here, this will get HIV out of you. I'm serious. And look how cheap that is. Okay, and people get scared sometimes because the niacin burns a little bit, but know that if you just man up or woman up and take it, just know they make it and they put it in a bottle for a reason, and so it's not gonna kill you. But that's what Gundam does, man. We keep people healthy, we keep people out of harm's way, and we build robots to put into harm's way instead of people. Okay, that's our next project. Also, the Chinook, we were getting that too for sure. They gave it to Boeing, which is Gundam Boeing, and so, yeah, man, we got a bigger XL UUV. We got a huge one too, and that's when we can put a Navy SEAL team in there. We can put whatever we want, man. We can do it. We like for Navy SEALs to be able to get around without having to deal with a submarine crew. It's real nice because submarine crews hassle people. Let's see. Um, our campus. Um, like I said, it's in Renton and Southport. It's not really staffed right now. that much because we just used the mobile workers there, and then we're controlling those from other locations just because of COVID, and we don't want any like sick people in the building at all. Like really, it's just that big a deal. We don't want sick people, and so we have our own airport, and so you can come in from anywhere in the world, okay, and you can land in our airport anywhere in the world, and then we're right over here, okay. And so when you come in and land here, you land, you park your plane, and then you can come right over. You can come right over to us. You come right over to see us, right? Because we're right over. We're right over here, okay. And so, this is us, okay. The airport will be over here, okay. We got really nice offices here. And these are for our full-time workers, and then we have people who come in out from out of town who are just here to work on a small project. They can get an office here. The offices that have a lot of see-through, and then there's offices that are that's the person's permanent office. We got our manufacturing facilities at Boeing. Right now, we pretty much using Boeing's facilities because Boeing was close to shutting down the Renton plant. I don't know if like anybody knows about that, but they're close to shutting down the Renton plant, and so we just take all of like that space that they were gonna shut down, and we like that's us, and so we just build the crap out of stuff, and so there's a lot of space in there, like more than you think. And they have all kind of cool machines and stuff that we can, route and CNC out and metals and prints and 3D stuff. And so all of our people, when they're coming from out of town and they don't live here, they don't even actually have to leave like our facility because we have a Hyatt hotel, right? Because there's the Boeing again. We have our own Hyatt. We got water pool and a gym. They can work out, swim, have a good time, see the water. Okay, and so we got everything here, and so this is our campus. We got an airport. There's even a movie theater across the street, but I didn't put that because that's not really, you know, doing a lot more than watching movies. So there's our campus, right? You see there, and then there's the Hyatt, and then we got some like retail and like some of our staff. Over here we got like some apartments and stuff over here. Okay, and then let's see if I could. Yeah, and then across this, and there's Boeing right there, and so. Uh, Yeah, we have a really, really nice campus in Renton, and so that's like my main thing that I'm investing in with my officer's commission. That I've been the first job I have in the Navy. When I was, just with my dad when I was a little kid, they're fitting me as a little kid up inside engines, and I would scrape off all the gunk inside the engines and lube it and clean it and replace the broken parts, and then the engines would be really nice, and we'd have really fast boats. And so I've been saving my Navy money up since I was a kid, and this is the type of stuff I invest in.